Okay, everybody, now we're going to do example 9.6. Get comfortable. This one has a fair amount of clicking. It's not all that difficult, but quite a bit of clicking with this one. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, get started. This one is on page 332 in the book. Okay, I've already copied the data into a clean sheet so we can play with that. And reading what they want us to do in 332, they want us to look at the case about detecting spam based on the number of recipients, hyperlinks, characters for an email. So it asks us to do two things. The first, use the holdout method to compare the accuracy rate of two competing logistic regression models for spam using the first 375 observations for training and the next 125 for validation. Model 1 has all the variables. Model 2 drops the variable that's not significant. In this case, it's going to be characters. And then next, it wants to re-estimate the preferred model with all 500 observations to predict the probability of spam if recipients, hyperlinks, characters are 25 and 60 respectively. All right, so we're going to have to run a few different models to get all the answers on this one. And the steps for this are on page 333, but not all the steps, just the partitioning steps. So the rest of this, I'm going to be walking you through as we go here. So the first thing we need to do is create a new column called flag. So just call it flag. And it says put a T in here for the first 375 observations. Since we have a header row, we need to copy this T all the way down to 376 because the first row doesn't count. That's right. Okay. And then the next 125 need to have a V. So we'll put the V all the way down. So there we go. We've done that. Okay, next we need to go to data mining. Partition, standard partition. And for the data range, we need click the ellipse, and then we're just going to take all of these. All right, A1 to F501. I don't feel like typing it in today. We'll have a long formula in a bit, and I'm saving up my typing energy for that. All right, so there you go. Hit OK. Select the move variables, spam, recipient, hyperlinks, and characters. You can hold down Control and hit all of these at once. So move these four over to selected variables. All right, and we want to click Use Partition Variable. And then here, we're going to move flag. Hit this button, put flag over there. And now hit OK. It'll take a second. So here, from now on, at least for the next two models we're going to run, we want to make sure we're on the standard partition tab. Because if you click off to a different tab when it runs the analysis, it's not going to use the right data. But as long as we stay in this tab, it's going to use our partition data. So make sure the standard partition tab, as labeled here, is active. So go to data mining, then classify, logistic regression, and then move the variables recipients, hyperlinks, and characters to the selected variables tab. Put spam in the output variable tab and click finish. I always had to click finish twice. Maybe yours does that, maybe it doesn't. Give it a minute. And now we look at the log reg training score. Okay. Um, so what we're looking for is, oh, I'm sorry, log reg validation score. Sorry. And then we see the accuracy rate is 68%. Okay, so that's just, you can write that down somewhere. I'm going to write it down over here. So model one has an accuracy rate of 68%. Okay, so now it says look at the variables and take out the one. Let's go back to training score to the one that's not significant. Okay. And then in this case, it's going to be characters. And we're going to go back and run the data again with standard partition. And we're going to run the same model, going data mining, classify, logistic regression. And then we're just going to take characters out of here. So everything else is going to be the same. Hit finish twice. Okay. And then we want to go to the validation score one. And we see the accuracy rate of this one, write it down, 65.6%. Okay. So model one had a 68% accuracy rate. Model two has a 65% accuracy rate. So based on this, we're saying model one with all the variables in there is the better one. So now what it wants us to do is go back to the original data and run model one since we know it's the best. So go back to sheet one here that has all your data. And then what we're going to do is go to data mining, classify, logistic regression, and we're going to grab the data. Don't grab flag, but grab columns A through E. Hit OK. Contains headers. And then we want for our selected variables to have, hold the control button down, makes it easier. Select recipients, hyperlinks, or characters. And then our output variable is going to be spam. And then you can hit next. If you want to click variance, covariance matrix, you can. I'm not in this case just because it makes it a little confusing. And then scroll down through your output. Okay, and so you'll see, and now that we run the model again, it wants us to predict based on a score of 20 for recipients, 5 for hyperlinks, and 60 for characters. So here's the coefficients of those things in an intercept. So we're going to use the equation that's on page 333 at the top, kind of a long one again, but here's where the numbers are coming from. So there's a little bit of a rounding difference in the very first intercept here between what we have on our screen and in the thing, but I'm just going to use what's in the book. It's only like 0.0001 off. Okay, but just to be consistent, I'm going to use that. So here we're going to just type in the equation that's there, but we have to type it in a little different so Excel will understand it. So we're starting with an open parenthesis, and we have the exp negative 3.8243. Okay, so that's this basically. It's just slightly off in this calculation from the other. I'd say that's just a rounding, probably from one version of software to another. Plus 0.1075 times 20. Okay, now the 20 is from the given information. That's 20 recipients. And the 0.1075 is the coefficient of this. Plus 0.5133 times 5, because it's 5 hyperlinks. And since we have a negative coefficient for this one, it's going to be negative minus 0.0141 times 60, because it's 60 characters. Okay, now let's get the number of closed parentheses right. See, now they're both black on the end, so you know it's a good chance that's correct. And then 1 plus, then we get into our whole equation thing again. EXP. I guess I could copy and paste the top part if I wanted to. But anyway, we'll just go ahead and do it. Negative 3.8243 plus 0.1075 times 20 plus 0.5133 times 5. Remember, this one's minus because the coefficient's negative. 0.0141 times 60. Now let's just get this number of closed parentheses correct. All right, hit enter. And there you go. So 0.51. So the last thing they wanted to know, predict the probability of spam if recipients, hyperlinks, and characters are 25 and 60 respectively. So there's that number. So as usual, I have all this stuff calculated, and where you have a a copy of what I have right here available for you in the in Canvas if you need to see that. So anyway, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.